Ladies and gentlemen, this is your boy Leel, and I am back again. Every day, there are news going on in the world of sports and pop culture, and I get my unique takes on them. Please subscribe to the channel so you can get all the latest updates on these hottest news and see the full episodes of my radio shows, The Real Leel Show, college and podcast version, In the Huddle, and What's Your Grind Like podcast. Daily updates, breaking news on my Instagram page, weekly blogs. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoy the content. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about the Giants right now as we get into the meat of the show. So basically what I want to start with is the saga that's going on between OBJ and the Giants. We all know what happened a couple months ago when the Giants shocked the world and its native New Yorkers by trading away OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. that is. And I had a very unique stance on that trade. Technically, what has OBJ done wrong? Yes, I know he was on a boat partying on a yacht in Miami before a playoff game. That was where I could criticize him the most, when he dropped a couple passes in the playoffs. That one time the Giants went to the playoffs when he was there. One time, mind you. And then on top of that, all he did was express his desire of the game. You know, yeah, he hit a net. Okay, the net hit him back. Karma did its justice. Okay, what's going on? Yeah, this guy's not here committing felonies. He's out there having fun. Yes, it's a diva society. He's out there doing that. But this guy has been productive at the wide receiver position. And as far as I'm concerned, he is not the problem. Ladies and gentlemen, if the Giants, if Tom Coughlin and the coaching staff had handled him better when he got into the league, instead of letting him do what the hell he wanted to do, you wouldn't have this issue. You think for 1 second OBJ could be on the Patriots with Bill Belichick, the GOAT of a coach, and act that same way? Hell no. His behind probably would have got shipped out of Foxborough. So let's address the real elephant in the room. All right, the coaching staff of the Giants have a lot to blame with it. All right, a father disciplined his child. All right, a coach disciplined his players, right? But it wasn't none of that. They allowed this brother to do what he was doing. And it got to a point where they was fed up. I understand that. But it's your fault because you have a talent. Talent like that don't always come. Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you have a lot of talented people in the world, all right? But you have transcendent talented people that come out in the world. You know, your LeBron James, your Zion Williamson, your Michael Jordans. You don't get these guys like that, all right? And then don't fall in your lap like that. And you got this guy out of LSU, a guy that made athletic plays that you will never see again. And you couldn't handle this the right way. And I still, to this day, still stand by what I say. I don't want to make it seem like I'm pro OBJ and I'm anti Eli Manning, but hey, this is how I feel, and whatever. Me personally, I maintain to the day that, you know, the Giants, to me, I don't know, I'm still not 100% sold on the Odell Beckham Jr. trade. All right, I'm still not sold because at the end of the day, David Gettleman said he had a plan, right? That's what David Gettleman told the Americans and the New Yorkers, right? That he has a plan. So if your plan was to trade OBJ, let's look at the tail of the tape. Who did you get in return for OBJ? What, Julius Peppers, a mid, second round pick or something like that? You end up getting Julius Peppers. You end up drafting Daniel Jones, who shocked, who that trade shocked everybody. I remember when I was on In the Huddle radio show, one of my radio shows with co-host Kenny C. And we was over there, we was broadcasting the NFL draft. And when we heard with the 6th pick that the New York Giants was taking Daniel Jones, I almost left. To go home. So this is everything that you did after trading OBJ. And then you got some injuries that took place today. Corey Coleman went down, right? The Giants had a terribly bad day today. Corey Coleman went down to ACL injury. He's gonna be out for the year, right? We have Sterling Shepard, who just fractured his thumb. I do believe he's going to be back during the regular season, but, I mean, That's still injuries. So now you're very thin at wide receiver position. Something that you wouldn't have had to worry about more if OBJ was still on your team. So with the additions that was made and with the injuries that took place today, I mean, I don't see how the Giants benefited from the OBJ trade. One thing about gambling, when you decide to gamble, right? The way you know how you won the gamble is if you get something in return. You get something valuable for your gamble. You know who won gambles outside of the people that go to Vegas and win and come back with stacks of money? People like Jerry West, who's smart up here, who knows who's a king, a basketball king in drafting and starting up a franchise, right? So what he did in Golden State, where he helped contribute in Golden State. You see what he's doing with the Clippers, with Kawhi and PG-13 going over there, right, during the offseason. People like Danny Ainge, who conned the Nets a couple of years ago. The Nets are so fortunate to be able to rebound in this day and age from it, but to just con them out of picks, and now you draft well, and they, the Boston Celtics are what they are, right? Which is a fairly good team. Guys like Masai Ujiri, right? Put all the eggs in the basket. Got Kawhi over there, and even though Kawhi only stayed 1 year, they won a championship. So when you gamble, if you get something in return, is if you know you won. To me, what the Giants did by gambling, by trading away OBJ, I do not see anything in which the Giants won that trade. At least not right now, from what they did. Right? So a lot of people was like, oh, OBJ, he was a diva, which we all know that. But let's face it, we in the age of 2019, right? We in the year of 2019, right? Social media. Everybody want to be seen. Everybody want to be the Big Daddy Canes. Everybody want to be all that, right? This is just how life is. And when you do got a popular and famous player with all those followers on Instagram that OBJ has, it comes with the territory. I'm not saying that the Giants should have put up with everything, but I do blame the coaching staff for the way how they handled, right? Tom Coughlin in particular, the way how they handled OBJ when he came into the league, right? Because talent like that don't go on trees. If he got drafted by the Patriots, because Bill Belichick run a certain system, he doesn't tolerate nonsense. OBJ would have been able to do that over there. So, yeah, I got to blame the Giants coaching staff as well, right? And I feel like OBJ is a guy that he works hard, right? That's one thing's for sure. He works hard. He's in the weight room constantly. He's over there doing what he got to do, right? You can see, OBJ, you can see somebody that wants to win, right? Sometimes people got to piece up everything together. Sometimes it's almost like a kid in school, right? A bad kid that was disrespectful, causing trouble, causing fights. But then he's starting to change, and you see that he wants to change, right? And he's getting there. He's making little strides here and there. He's not perfect, obviously, because the boy's troubled. But he's getting there, and then you expel him right before he hit his peak potential. That's what I feel like the Giants did. Yes, OBJ had his instances. Yes, he was out there peeing on the floor. Fake peeing on the floor after you scored a touchdown, like a dog. Yes, he hit a net, when which the net hit him back. Yes, he smoked marijuana with two girls right next to him, or whatever it was, and videotaped it. Yeah, he did all that. But to me, from what I saw, was that a brother trying to change, right? Trying, all right? Obviously, what goes on in his personal life is what goes on in his personal life. But he was trying to change. And you expelled the brother before he was able to hit his peak potential. After you just gave him a big contract at that too, which I still don't understand. You paid the brother to dismiss the brother, right? But that's what the Giants did. So recently, OBJ came out with some interesting comments. In a GQ magazine interview released on Monday, Beckham claimed he was the primary reason why the New York Giants have recently received primetime game slots, despite often boosting a subpar record. All right, which to some degree is true, but not true. The Giants, to me, always had primetime games. The Giants was always primetime games. Hell, they won Super Bowls without OBJ being there. And that's what, Eli Manning. Matter of fact, let me read Eli Manning's part before I get into that. So Eli Manning said, he responded back. He was like, I don't think that bothered me. Right? You kind of shake your head and laugh. I won a few games before he was there, which is true. Eli Manning won 2 Super Bowls before the arrival of OBJ. So they were playing in primetime games. But where I could defend what OBJ is saying is that he made the Giants fun to watch, right? Me personally, I watch Giants games to see OBJ and Saquon Barkley. That was the only reason why I tuned in to watch Giants games. It was to see OBJ and Saquon Barkley. It wasn't to see Eli Manning like a sitting duck in the pocket, all right, making bonehead plays as he do sometimes, and the abysmal offensive line that they have, right? Pat Shurmur in the press conference. It wasn't to see that. Pat Shurmur in the press conferences going off on people. It was, bad attitude. It wasn't to see all that. It was to see OBJ make his athletic plays, right, with catches that you won't see from other wide receivers, right? To see his God-gifting plays, and to see Saquon Barkley, who we know is a new phenom on the block. That was the only reason why I chose to watch Giants games. So in that retrospect, I could agree with OBJ. But as far as the primetime slots, the Giants always had primetime slots because that is a big market. New York is a big market, right? That's the place to be. That's a big market right there. So they're going to get their fair shares of primetime games, whether they suck, whether they lose every game, or whether they win every game, or whether they 500 or whatever. They're going to get their primetime slots. So in that, I don't agree with OBJ with that. But as far as the Giants being an excited team to watch, wanted to pay to go to the games, to see talent, OBJ had a lot to do with that. He did. But at the same time, am I going to get on OBJ for what he said? No. I feel like for people that's criticizing OBJ for what he said, it's just, I don't know why they doing that. OBJ was asked a question, and sometimes, it's hard not to answer certain questions. Yeah, you want to be professional at times, but sometimes, a question is being asked, and you want to say how you feel, right? You want to say how you feel. Yeah, you want him to focus on being on the Browns and focus on being on his new team, but at the same time, it happens. It's human nature. We got to realize here that, yes, I'm not defending everything that OBJ did or said, because I didn't like when he came out against, when he spoke out against Eli Manning with the interview with, what's the girl name? Forgot, the interview with one of the, reporters. I didn't like that, right? I didn't like certain actions. I didn't like the fact that he was in Miami on a yacht right before a playoff game and dropped passes because of it, right? I didn't like all that. But at the same time, I feel like with certain people, because they made a few mistakes, the media just finds any little outlet to just bash them harder than they would a normal other person. That's what I personally think. For example, look at people. Let's go outside of sports. Let's go into hip-hop, right? Chris Brown. Because I just saw his No Guidance video today. That's why his name came up to me first. It was a good video with him and Drake. But let's take Chris Brown, right? We all know about the situation with Rihanna, right? And yeah, we off topic, but it makes sense when you connect the dots, like Connect 4. Yes, Chris Brown had the incident with Rihanna, right? But the media has always attacked Chris Brown. Now Chris Brown can have a song talking about girls and hair textures and how you only mess with certain girls with hair, and then that becomes a whole media conglomerate conversation bashing Chris Brown when hip-hop has songs every day that dehumanizes women and all that sort. But yet we pick that little thing, that little lyric from Chris Brown, right? And I definitely heard worse things in in hip-hop, right? and they come up with that little topic right there, and they bash his brother. Where if it was somebody else, they want to bash that brother for the same thing. So mine is to say with OBJ, right? He's a guy that whatever he says, whatever he does, is going to be watched and talked about. But it does come with the fame. And sometimes when you do ask for the fame, that's what comes with the fame. And that's just how it is. Like, for example, I was having a conversation with my bro, right? And I told him, I forgot what we was talking about. We was talking about, you know, how dudes that are rich and how some of them had drug addictions and you know, or whatever. And I said to him, what if being famous is the drug? Right? What if being famous is a drug? And that's just what it is. OBJ is a famous person, right? He's a famous person, and that comes with the territory. But at the same time, that does not give people the right to just itch at everything he said. You know what I'm saying? But it does come with the territory. So to be honest with you, OBJ, I'm expecting a good year from OBJ. He's hungry. He got a lot to play for, right? He got a lot to play for. The naysayers, the haters, they're going to be watching. To me, he's in an excellent predicament. And actually, he's in a better place right now. Because obviously, with him and his personality, being in the New York market, obviously things could get, you know, diva-ish, right? Diva-ish. But now that he's on the Browns, Cleveland, it's not the biggest state attraction, but he can still focus on football. He's with his friend, Jarvis Landry. To me, that's the best predicament that he could have ever went to. Because they have a young quarterback in Baker Mayfield who's on the rise, who is big time, who's going to be one of those quarterbacks down the line that's going to be a problem. Right? You're in a good predicament over there. I'm starting to feel Freddie Kitchens. At first, I was like, how I like about this hire? I'm starting to feel a little bit. So you got him, you got your best friend over there, you got a lot of wide receivers over there, so you're not going to be double teamed. And if they do decide to double team you, then the tight ends like David Njoku is going to be able to be free right up the lane and be able to catch passes from Baker Mayfield. And you still got the running game. Kareem Hunt, who is going to be suspended for a couple games, when he comes back, oh my gosh. Right? So OBJ is in the best predicament that he could ever be in. But what I want to see from OBJ now is enough with the chatter, enough with the talk, right? He cut the brother cut his hair, so that shows you that he is ready to play football. He is ready to change, to have a new start, right? To have a new start. So I believe him being on Cleveland is his perfect outlet to having a new start, and he can actually focus on football. So we'll see what happens, right? With OBJ. But as far as the Giants, I don't know what the Giants plan is, right? I don't know what it is. They starting to be, well, I'm not even going to say that. I was about to say they starting to take on the Knicks persona. But the Knicks, the Knicks is terrible. Ain't nothing can compare to being a Knicks fan, right? The disaster of being a Knicks fan. The heartache of being a Knicks fan. I ain't even going to get into that in this live because I don't even want to throw my phone and break my phone. So I'm going to stay on topic. But the Giants, they starting to pick up ways from this franchise back here. But they're not as worse as this franchise back here because they actually won a Super Bowl in 2007 and a couple years after that, right? So that's a whole nother topic. But they have a couple injuries, like I said earlier. Sterling Shepard, he fractured his thumb. Corey Coleman, ACL out for the year. And they need to work out some receivers now. They very thin at wide receiver. OBJ is not there, obviously, because they traded him a couple months ago. So we'll see who they decide to work out and, you know, have for Eli Manning, because Eli Manning is going to have a target, right? So we'll see. What this shows me is that Saquon Barkley is just going to be it's going to be more work for him, and he's going to be a very big part of that offense, even though he was going to be anyway. It's going to be even bigger part of that Giants offense come this season, when the season starts. So that's what I got to say about the Giants. I mean, we are in the middle of training camp, right? And there's a lot of things going on right now. I mean, you got guys pulling up to training camps in armory trucks and hot air balloons, referencing Jalen Ramsey and Antonio Brown. It go back to the OBJ point, man. It's just how divas are, man. This is a diva society, and it comes with the territory. You know what I'm saying? It comes with the territory of having a superstar, because it is a diva society. And the more popular you are, the more good you are, is the more diva you're going to be in most cases. You do have your exceptions, right? Guys like Tom Brady, guys like Giannis in basketball, it comes with the territory a lot in most cases. So it is what it is. But you got guys pulling up in air balloons and stuff like that in training camp. It's just what it is. But I want to talk about the Cowboys, right? I'm gonna stay in the NFC East, talking about the Cowboys, right? I'm gonna talk about the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys, huh? I'm not a Cowboys fan, but that's the saying. How about them Cowboys? I got people in my family that are Cowboys fans, and it makes me sick, because I'm not a Cowboys fan. But I will tell you that the Cowboys can be a legitimate Super Bowl contender, depending on what's going on with this Ezekiel Elliot situation. Because it is a situation. The brother wants to be paid. Just like Melvin Gordon and these other running backs in the NFL. And when it comes to this topic of paying running backs, it's a very debatable topic, because we already know that running backs, their career don't last as much as other positions in the NBA, so their career span is shorter. They take a lot of hits, obviously. They have the ball. And the production goes down at a certain age as well. So you take that into account. So generally, running backs don't get paid. We saw this movie before with Le'Veon Bell, right? We saw how that worked out for Le'Veon Bell. The brother ended up getting less than what he would have had on the Steelers. So basically, Le'Veon Bell sit it out a year just so he won't pay taxes. Something I can see Wesley Snipes doing if he played sports, because the brother didn't like to pay his taxes. And that goes to all the celebrities that don't know how to pay their taxes. If they were playing sports, they would have made that same move. Sit out so you get traded not to pay taxes, because you're going to be in Jersey. And Jersey don't pay taxes, because that's where the Jets play, in Jersey. That's where their stadium is, in Jersey. Right? So, you see it a lot with running backs. If I'm the Chargers, I don't pay Melvin Gordon, because the Chargers already got a good offense. They already got a good defense, right? They got 3 wide receivers, Mike Williams. They got Phillip Rivers, obviously. They got Keenan Allen. They got a lot of pieces on the offense. So technically, whether or not Melvin Gordon is there, you don't need him. Yes, he makes you better, but it's like that song by Neo and Fabulous, all right? I'm good all by myself, but baby, you make me better. That's what the Chargers do, right? And that's just like me too, right? I'm good all by myself. I don't need nobody. But hey, if you want to come along for the ride, for the real live ride, maybe you might be a good addition. But I don't need you. That's what I feel about the Chargers. However, when we come to the Cowboys, how about them Cowboys? When we come to the Cowboys, it's a different story. They need this brother, Ezekiel Elliot. It's not no I'm good all by myself, but you make me better. No. You make me good. That's what it is with the Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott. I've never been sold on Dak Prescott. I think he's okay. If you had to put the ball in Dak Prescott's hand and tell him, lead me to where I want to go, to my destination, I'm not sold on him doing that. Right? The only time I would say where I thought Dak Prescott really showed that he can play in the NFL was in that NFC divisional round game against the Packers, in which Aaron Rodgers had to make a spectacular pass to get them in field goal range to win the game. That Dak Prescott, I have yet to see again. Right? Ezekiel Elliott is a guy that you can get 4 yards each play. All right, 4 yards each play. He changes their offense. Guys, let me tell you something, right? Teams in the NFL or preparing, their main focus is on Ezekiel Elliot. How do we stop him? How do we limit him? That's their main forte because he's the main issue. They want Dak Prescott to have the ball in their hands and let him do something with it. That's what they want. They want Dak Prescott to be the guy that's going to have the ball in his hands and do something with it. All right? As soon as the ball is in Dak Prescott's hand and they tell him to do something with it, like, but when it's Ezekiel Elliott, it's totally different. So I think they might have to pay this brother. And this is the one instance where I may say you gotta pay this brother, even though he's a running back. I mean, right now he got 2 years and $13 million. He got a 2-year, $13 million left on his deal, right? Left on his rookie deal. The brother ran for 1,434 yards last season. Mind you, the brother was suspended 6 games last season. Still ran for 1,400 yards. I mean, this brother, he gives you about 2,000 yards of offense. That's majority of your offense is coming from Ezekiel Elliott. So if the Cowboys want to say, all right, we can still be a good team without Ezekiel Elliott. We don't got to pay the brother. We can still be a legitimate good team, right? But, I mean, you still got Amari Cooper. Still got a good defense. The Cowboys have an overall good team. Without Ezekiel Elliott, they're not a championship contender. With Ezekiel Elliott, they're a championship contender. And they can very well fight in the NFC to be in the Super Bowl. To me, they in the top 5 odds. I mean, they have good odds. This is a very good team. So, then again, maybe they play the rating game, right? And see if the brother will at least be back during the start of the season. Because sometimes that's an alternative route too. Like, all right, let's not pay the guy. Let's see if he comes at some point during training camp. Because from what Jerry Jones said today, the brother is late, right? The brother is late. Late is the word that he used. But the brother, he want to get paid. The brother's not late. The brother, he's late on his paycheck. He wants to get paid. That's exactly what he wants to do. So if I'm the Cowboys, if it gets to a point where I have to pay Ezekiel Elliott, then I would have to. I mean, the Cowboys, it's gonna be very expensive to pay both Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and Amari Cooper, right? It's gonna be very expensive, but sometimes you gotta spend money to look good and to be a contender. That's what it is. Sometimes it comes like that. Yeah, there's something called a tax. There's something called a cap. But at the same time, if you need to play with the boundaries a little bit to get a championship, it's just what it is. I mean, people in society, they go off their limit. They go off what they can handle because they know they gonna look good, or it's gonna be the popping thing at the moment. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But in this case for the Cowboys, I think it will work. Ezekiel Elliott, that's their offense right there. That's their offense right now. So, I'm not a Cowboys fan. And if they don't pay Zeke and they decide to, crazily trade Ezekiel Elliott, I'll be happy. Because at least I won't have to worry about that. At least I won't have to hear my dad calling me up, talking about, how about them Cowboys? So, we'll see. But to me, Ezekiel Elliott is the best running back in football right now. He's the best running back in football. Between him, it's Ezekiel Elliott, it's Saquon, probably throwing Le'Veon Bell, throwing some other guys. But Ezekiel Elliott is the leader of the pack. All right? So, if I'm the Cowboys, I'll pay the brother. I would. Personally, I would do it. But hey, will they do it? We'll see. We have yet to see. But so far, training camp, NFL Network is the place to be. They covering it, every day. So if you're an NFL sports fan and you haven't been tuning in to NFL Network and watching the interviews and the training camp updates well, you gotta watch NFL Network because they showing it all day, every day. They take you to camp with them. So, you know, shout out to NFL Network and the crew for doing an amazing job covering the training camp.